There we go. Councillors, it's a wonderful time to see you all in here in the new building. It's quite an interesting environment. We're all looking at things as they're changing. Before I go through the quick housekeepings, what I'll do is I'll just put a word of prayer on it. And as before, if you'd like to bow your heads, you can. Dear Heavenly Father, look after us today. Look after us to make the decisions that need to be made for our district. Lord, look after those people from our district who are over fighting fires in other countries. And Lord, look after all those other people who are still travelling between here and Whangarei, who have trouble with the state highway at this present moment. In your precious name, amen. So quick housekeeping, councillors. The microphones are slightly different this time from what you've been told. Once you've pressed the button, it comes up on my screen to show you that you have actually registered that you'd like to speak, and we'll take you through the different order of that. And you don't need to hold your finger down, but what you will need to do is when you finish speaking, if you can touch the button again, just to turn it off. Councillors, I remind you, yes, Councillor Cooper, I do see that on there. I will just point out that we are live streamed. So as we go through the meeting, just be well aware of that. And for the council staff out there who are here in the meeting as well, I understand that the microphones in here are very sensitive, and you have all been pre-warned. We have one apology at the present moment, which is Councillor Olsen. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Peters and Councillor Hulse. All in favour? Right. Carried. Is there anything else? No, we just got... Have you all got the agendas in front of you, just to make sure? Sweet. Excellent. Let's bring it up on the screen here as well. Councillors, I just wanted to highlight before we actually do start off with the meeting, you will notice that we've got the King over here and we've got the treaty. These will actually be up in the front of our foyer. Carol Peters up here, yes. Even though the King is still a temporary picture of the King, we're still waiting from Department of Internal Affairs for the official picture. And we will get these put up on the wall at the front to represent and to show the people that these are actually the documents that we actually, or the organisations that we actually look after and make sure we protect. So it's vitally important that the treaty and the King are at the front, as long as we see the flag there as well. And I don't know if anyone knows, we also have a rudder over here which has been donated to, or gifted to our council. This was gifted about 6 years ago. It's a rudder which has been crafted, which is to basically guide our district. That was the purpose of it. Councillors, our first agenda item in this new building. Councillor Peters, yes?
From whom? Who donated the rudder?
The rudder, I believe it came from the local hapu. Sorry, Councillor Peters. I can't give you the exact on that one. There is actually documentation there which will explain all that. Yeah. Our first agenda item is 4.1. Do I have a mover for that?
Right, that wasn't very smart, was it? So we'll go with it. So, item 1. So, that Whangarei District Council A adopt the fees and charges listed in Table A as follows, as per Attachment 1. Statement of Proposal, Fees and Charges 2023-24. These fees were consulted on and deliberated as part of the 2023 annual plan process as required under the Special Consultative Procedure under the Local Government Act 2022. 2002, I apologise. Now, would you like me to read the whole Table A, Your Worship, or is that sufficient for the purpose of this process?
B.
I think Table A is more than perfect to say, and then you've got item B at the bottom.
And item B, okay, is B, authorises the Chief Executive to make minor amendments, drafting, typographical or presentation corrections necessary to the 2023-24 fees and charges document. Very briefly, we have consulted widely on this, and we've taken a lot of time in chambers to debate. I appreciate that there are varying views around the room, but I'm very conscious that we have given this a lot of time within chambers. So on that basis, I think it speaks for itself, but I support.
Is anyone else got anything else to say or discussion? Councillor Connor.
Thank you very much. It's getting some adjusting just to make sure I can actually be heard properly through this and through around the chamber. This is one of those things that we have to go through to make sure that the charges that we are setting are to the appropriate people so that everybody doesn't necessarily have to be charged. I've highlighted it before, but I'll raise it again as well, that the rubbish bags will be going up to $4 from $3, and the small rubbish bag from $1.80 to $2. We need to be considerate about what we are throwing away. These bags can actually be pretty bloody good, but we need to make sure that we're using the waste minimization options to be able to make the most of them. So as much as the charge is going up, if we are wise about how we throw out our waste or resources, we can actually make it a bit cheaper for ourselves too.
Any other comments? Councillor Holmes, would you like your right of reply?
No, thank you, Worship. I'm happy. Thank you.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favour? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you, councillors. We're now going to move on to item 4.2, page 31 or page 33 on the electronic version. Councillor Reid, would you like to move this? And Councillor Peters, that looks like she'll second that.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would take pleasure in recommending this. That Council 1, adopt the 23-24 annual plan. 2, resolve to carry forward unspent capital projects as at 30th of June 2023, in addition to those already forecast, into the 23-24 year, and note that subsequent carry forwards will be part of a revised budget which will be reported back to Council. 3, authorise the Chief Executive to make any necessary drafting, typographical or corrections to the 23-24 annual plan.
Councillor Reid, since it's been moved and seconded, would you like to speak to it?
I would actually, Your Worship, thank you. We've been through quite a set of briefings and workshops on this, and it hasn't been an easy time this last 12 months with weather infringing on our normal way of life that it has, and we do have a lot of work in front of us. And we are looking forward. We are not going to look back, and it is with pleasure that I've moved this, and we've got a few plans in mind to do with our infrastructure. It's unfortunate that time has dealt us a bit of a blow and we didn't get to bring this to all our councillors in a refined form. But it is now in the document, and with that I'll leave that as it is. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Councillor Peters.
Just a chance to.
Actually, Councillor Peters, Councillor Cooper's actually got his microphone pressed before you, so I will go to Councillor Cooper.
You'll be quick on the draw here, Councillor Peters. I guess in adopting this annual plan, which I support, I would like to draw people's attention to the paragraph on page 34, which starts off with the heading impact of subsidy revenue on the balanced budget. We have gone through a consultation process, and as a group of people who have been elected to represent the ratepayers and the citizens of our district have decided on a rate increase which we will now endeavour to make work. But we should be cognisant of this paragraph, and I'm going to read it out. The large capital program assumes a considerable level of subsidy revenue, both operating and capital. This anticipated revenue is included as part of a council balanced budget benchmark. This puts council's ability to achieve a balanced budget result at risk. Because if subsidised capital projects are not delivered, the associated revenue will not be realised as budgeted. The increasing amount of subsidy revenue, most of which is for capital projects, also masks the true operating position of council. While achieving a balanced budget under the prescribed measures, the reality is that the revenue to meet everyday operational activities is less than the budgeted operational costs to undertake them. While still being cash flow positive, this shortfall means depreciation will not be fully funded, meaning in the longer term the capital revenue program will have to be deferred or funded by debt. Now I raise that issue not to look backwards but to look forward, Your Worship. We are tasked with running a sustainable operation. This is an annual plan, but soon we will be going into our long-term plan. That long-term plan will have to grapple with that very problem which is signified there. And so in adopting this, I think we should also be cognisant of the fact that we will have to balance a budget, we will have to take into account depreciation, and we will have to find efficiencies of which the team is working for and absolutely supported by us to do that. But I think it's wise to signal to the public that that challenge is out there for us, and we intend to meet it, but at the same time any shortfalls will have to be addressed in the long-term plan, and that should be signalled as well. Thank you.
Point taken there. Councillor Peters.
I was about to launch into the similar discussion, and in adding to what Councillor Cooper has just said, this is going to mean that we are not going to be able to do all the road improvements and footpath improvements that are wanted and needed in the Whangarei District. We're going to do what we can, but that will be limited. So our capital projects will be limited, and also our ability to improve the district in the way we would like to do. And that is affecting many of our citizens. In fact, in a way where you would say it's affecting all of our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Peters. Councillor Benny.
Yes, thank you. I would just like to comment on some of the comments that have been made today. Although we consulted on a 10.9% rate rise, or the alternative of a 7.9% rate rise, we voted as a council for a 7.9. That is still a significant increase. So I don't quite buy the theory that we won't be able to do what we want to do. I think it's a matter of prioritising things, of finding better ways to do things. We are a lean council. I accept that. We are one of the lowest councils in the country for rates. We are a lean council in that our cost for running staff. But I just think I don't want to get caught in this thing. We'll use this as an excuse to not do stuff. We've got to find better ways to do things. And I think as a council we've started that process. We've got to continue that process. But I'm sorry, I don't buy the line that we will not be able to do what we previously did or what we want to do.
Thank you, Councillor Benny. I think the point is made, and I think the councillors do understand what you're actually pointing out there. Is there any other comments? Councillor Connor.
Thank you. This is one of those things, once again, that we have to do to provide the services that we attempt to maintain for our district, for the people, for everything and everyone who lives around here. There are things we cannot control and things we can control. I'm hoping that with the control of the rate rise that we've put onto this, we will not overwhelm the staff with potential burnout, with overloading them with too many things to do, attempting to drive efficiencies, because personally I've been in that space where I've had to do too many things and at my own detriment because I wasn't able to keep up with them. I'm really hoping that the staff will be able to use this new building to build their efficiencies and gain a much more cohesive way of working. It's great to hear the support that the staff have already felt with being in the spaces, and I'm really hoping that it shows. I do not want to see us go backwards, and I really hope the maintenance we can improve, because sometimes it's the basic things that we need to make sure we're getting on top of to make that whole of life much easier for people. It's just getting around on footpaths, it's getting through and being accessible and making sure that it is efficient and equitable as much as possible. And I encourage everybody to engage in the long-term plan when we have it come up to us. Please. Thank you.
Councillor Harding.
I can't remember. Talk now. Yeah. Sorry, aroha mai. E te kora matua tēnā koe. Kia ora tātou katoa. I guess I just wanted to reiterate my previous comments and positions whilst we've had quite a lot of debate and negotiations on this kaupapa. And we've also had the public consultation and received their feedback as well. And I guess where I was, my position was that we didn't want to lend too much of our debt on our future generations, and that has come up in a lot of our documents. And in saying that, you know, we have to learn to pay our way today, so we don't land too much on them tomorrow. And we're already landed with a huge amount of debt today, which we've got to take care of, and we've got to work with our team on how we look at those efficiencies. So I certainly take into consideration the comments from Councillor Benny, and of course, you know, we've got to be united on this, otherwise how are we going to path our way forward? So hugely supportive, like where we've got to, and keeping in mind of what's in front of us. Kia ora, thank you. Te kora mata.
Councillor Holmes.
Your Worship, so I just wanted to reflect what Councillor Benny said, because I tend to take the same view. This was a tough process that we went through. There was extensive consultation. It wasn't easy to arrive at this number, but the challenge is out there now for councillors and for staff to cut our cloth accordingly, and that's what we've got to do. We have to focus on the things that we must do. And so whilst I hear the note of caution from our CFO, which is only right to raise that caution, I think we owe it to our citizens, our ratepayers, to squeeze every last ounce out of this and make sure that we do the very best we can for ratepayers, given that we've set this budget and we all now as a council have to get behind it and support it. It's perhaps not easy for the public to see the level of debate that goes into these important decisions, because inevitably they only get to see the tip of the iceberg. There's another 80% below the waterline, which often the public don't see, which is the very difficult conversations we have as council. When we went out to consultation, neither option was palatable to many people. We've landed on the least unfavourable option. And I'm very aware that for many people out there, any increase is too much. So we mustn't be complacent and say that, well, be grateful for what you got. Lots of people out there will find any increase too much. So we owe it to them, to all our residents, our citizens, to do the very best we can and get behind this. And I'm sure that we all will. Thank you.
Sentiments well said there, Councillor Holmes. Councillor Hulse.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to point out in this rate strike that we actually put in 2.5% specifically for roading. And I think that's the first time I can recall that we have actually been brave enough to do that. It is done with the intention of trying to keep pace with what's happening around the roading industry and the pressures on it. Yeah, we've got cyclones coming through, ripping out our roads. We've got our contractors under enormous pressure to actually clear those cyclone-damaged roads and open them up. But also, they've got the business as usual contracts to run as well. We know we're short of funding in that area, but to all our residents out there, we're saying we're doing the very best we can. I've been really impressed with the work that Councillor Reid and Councillor Yovich have done in the background, putting together a plan that's going to be, hopefully going to be successful, and to try and maximise the subsidies we get from Whangarei and anyone else who's got a subsidy available. We're going to go out hard and try and attract as much of that as possible. The state of our roading is a real problem, but we've made extensive efforts to try and create a plan that is actually going to alleviate some of the problems. So I think it's a brave council to put that in, but it's a signal of great intention that we are listening to our ratepayers and we're doing our very best to try and deliver that service. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hulse. Councillor Mackenzie.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to recognise the challenging economic times that people are facing. The citizens of Whangarei. Hopefully, if the predictions are correct, inflation will be back down to 3% by the end of next year. So hopefully that does eventuate and we become, slightly more on a level footing financially again. I agree with Councillor Cooper's comments around recognising the reality of the shortfall of funding depreciation properly. That's something that we'll have to grapple with in coming years. I'd just like to say that I really appreciate the team's efforts in finding efficiencies. We've had several initiatives come through Council in the last couple of months, including the water renewal contract, medium to long-term plans to address the roading issues. And yesterday we heard about a raft of efficiencies that the contractor for Parks and Reserves is undertaking with a very sophisticated computer system that enables them to work super efficiently. So there are lots and lots of good things going on within Council. I want the public to be made aware of that. And I know that people are stretched due to the budgetary constraints. We really appreciate the work that you're doing for our district, and we want you and the organisation to be successful for the betterment of everyone in the district.
There you go. Thank you, Councillor Mackenzie. Councillors, look, I think the sentiments are around the room here. I think we all understand the restrictions that have been put amongst our community, amongst our staff, and we all acknowledge that the hard work that they have actually done to get to this point, and that what's coming up for them in the next year. Councillors, I'll also remind you that this building, the purpose of this building is also to create efficiencies as well. We're seeing efficiencies amongst the different departments within this council because now they are able to communicate to one another and not wait for emails or wait for till next time they actually meet them. So they're actually making internal efficiencies here as well, which is something which we will see the profit of in the next 6 months. In saying that, councillors, we are up to this point where we need to vote. So all those in favour? And apologies, Councillor Reid, I forgot to give you your right of reply. Councillors, we're now moving on to item 4.3. Now, this is the hard part. This is the rates resolution. It's on page 35 or page 37. Do I have a mover for this?
Nobody wants to read that.
Okay, look, I will move it then and I will read it. Do we have a second? Councillor Yovich will second it. Okay, the recommendation is that Council, having adopted the 2023-24 annual plan, including the 2023-24 funding impact statement, resolves to set the following rates in accordance with the Local Government Rating Act of 2002 for the financial year commencing on the 1st of July 2023 and ending on the 30th of June 2024. We have general rates, which goes through the different rating values. We have targeted rates, which covers the sewerage, water rates, through to the Hikarangi Swamp, which is also in there, and the road seal extension rates. And then item 2, we have resolves that the due dates for payment of rates and imposition of penalties are as follows. Due dates and penalties, dates for rates other than metered water rates, volumetrically supply and backflow prevention charges. The due dates for rates other than the metered water rates are set out in the table below. In pursuit of Section 57 of the Local Government Rating Act 2002, a penalty of 10% will be added to the amount of each instalment which remains unpaid after the due date, for payments with penalties to be added on the penalty dates specified in the table below. And I'll just highlight those. Instalment 1 is on the 20th of August 2023 as the due payment. The penalty will be applied as of the 23rd of August. So the first payment is of the 20th of August, and the penalty will be added on the 23rd of August. Instalment 2, the 20th of November of 2023, and the penalty will be added on the 22nd of November 2023. Instalment 3, the 20th of February 2024, with the penalty added on the 22nd of February 2024. And instalment 4 on the 20th of May 2024, or the date or penalty on the 22nd of May 2024. The due on B, due dates and penalties for metered water rates. Water accounts as proceeded monthly, 2 monthly or 6 monthly. The due dates of these accounts will be relative to the consumer's cyclic billing period and will apply as specified in the table below. I will just read off the invoice dates of those, which is July 2023, August 2023, September 2023, October 2023, November 2023, December, and right the way through to June 2024. Penalties will be added to the water rates not paid by the due date under Section 57 of the Local Government Act, Rating Act 2002. A penalty of 10% will be applied to any portion of water rates unpaid after the due date at the penalty date specified in the table below. And again, the table there lists on all the penalty dates for all the different ones, which is basically the 23rd or 22nd or 24th of that month. And 3, resolves that additional penalty charges will be applied in accordance with Section 58 of the Local Government Rating Act 2002, with a penalty of 10% being applied to any unpaid rates, including penalties previously added and water rates from previous rating years that remain unpaid as of the 6th of July 2023. This penalty will be added on 6th of September 2023. Yes, I have skipped over a few of the parts, but I've tried to continue and get the gist of what you've got in front of you. Councillors, this is the actual time where we actually determine the rates and the rate strikes for the district. This is the part where you'll see that we have included water rates, we have included sewage rates. As for the long-term plan next year, these things have been taken off us. But for this annual plan, they are here. Councillors, it is always a hard thing to put rates on people's properties, because you always feel for people, but you also know that this is what keeps our district going. This is the part that actually keeps the clockworks going, keeps the staff getting out there, getting the jobs done. So while they're listed there, and the dates of penalties of 10%, they are part of what we have to deal with. On that, I'm going to move to Councillor Benning.
Yeah, just following on from the previous agenda item, and you're moving this one. The reason no one wants to move this is because it is an ugly process and no one likes doing it, especially going on about penalties for people. During the rates debate, we had all these assumptions that for some people it's a cup of coffee a week and things like that. But for the people like commercial ratepayers, whose at the end of the week, their fuel bills are going to be going up. They're getting ripped off by supermarkets and banks, and the government continues to tax us. We're the last ones in line, and it's not a great place to be for us to impose this on our people. And I urge people, if there are issues with paying the rates, that they contact staff and work out something with them, because I think you'll find there are opportunities, there are ways that staff will and can assist you. So yeah, this is not a very nice process to go to, but it's something we have to do. I think we've kept the rates to a minimal amount, and again, I just urge people that if there are any issues, to contact council and discuss it with them.
Thank you, Councillor Benny. Councillor Roka.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to carry on from Councillor Benny's corridor around the rates and that, and getting in contact with the council. One thing that our rates payers and our whānau and our public are real clear about is how efficient council is at sending the bill, but how inefficient we are at making rates rebates and things like that readily available and very open to the public. So we'll just encourage us as council and our council staff to try and make it a little bit more forward-facing tax rates, rebates and things like that, so our public are more aware of it and more aware of the opportunities they have.
Thank you, Councillor Roka. And you have highlighted a very good point there. The rates rebates are there for people if they're in financial situations where they can't. There's also payment schemes as well.
Yep, thanks, Your Worship. Can I just question the timeframes of the penalties? Like, you seem to have 2 days from date of payment to the end date of a 10% penalty, and to me that just sort of seems a little bit soon.
Ellen, I'm going to hand it over to you. Would you like to answer that?
Through the chair, the penalties are basically done. There's the rates invoice issued. There's a long notice period for people to pay their rates with a date to be paid. We give people a further 3 days grace after that to make the payment before we apply a penalty. But also if somebody contacts at that point or even afterwards say, look, I can't pay it, and go on a payment plan, that penalty is waived.
Thank you, Ellen. Yes, look, the staff really do try to work with our ratepayers, and that's one thing I have to acknowledge. As someone like myself who does pay weekly, that is something I have done for the last 9 years. It's a way I do the rates. However, there are different options that the staff can arrange for those types of things for different people. Is there anyone else to talk to this? I don't think there's a point for me to have a right of reply. So, councillors, all in favour? Thank you, councillors. That is the closing of the open section. Now, can I have someone to move us into confidential? Councillor Harding and Councillor Benny. All those in favour? I'll just give the team a couple of minutes to change things around to move into confidential.